Okay, welcome to another episode of Black Atlas Goings On. My name is Kenny, aka Black Atlas, and today we are doing another recipe in the Ninja Foodi. We are going to be doing what is called Parker House dinner rolls. And as usual, we are going to go through the ingredients one by one. Then we're going to tackle these steps one by one. So give me 1 second, and I'll be right back with you, and we can go on with the ingredients. Action. Okay, so we need 3/4 cup of milk, a half a stick of butter. We have a 1/4 cup of sugar. We have a half a packet of active dry yeast. Then we have 1/4 cup plus 3½ tablespoons of warm water. We have 3 eggs that I need to crack and divide. And then we have a half a teaspoon of kosher salt, 3 cups plus 1 tablespoon of all-purpose flour, and coarse sea salt for sprinkling. I'm using pink Himalayan sea salt. So yeah, that is all of the ingredients. So let's go ahead and move these ingredients out of the way, and then we are going to go ahead and get these rolls started. Action. Okay, so step 1 says place the milk into the pot. Here's the milk. There's the pot. Then it says select sear saute and put it on medium high. And then select start stop to begin. And then it says bring to a gentle simmer, then press the start stop button to turn it off. And then we'll be right back with you when the next step is up. Okay, so the milk is simmering, so we're going to go ahead and do the next step. And it says remove the pot from the unit and then stir in the butter and sugar and then let cool down to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's get this out. Get this on this surface right here. Then we're going to stir in the butter. All right, butter's almost melted. Let's go ahead and stir in the sugar as well. Okay, that is all mixed up, and we got to let that come down to 110 degrees. And then it says, in a small bowl, stir together yeast and 1/4 cup of water, and let sit until foamy, about 10 minutes. So let's go ahead and get that done. Okay, here is the yeast and the warm water. So that is done as well. That's got to sit for about 10 minutes. And then it says, once the milk mixture is cooled, add 2 eggs, yeast mixture, salt, and 1 1/2 cups of flour to a mixer fitted with a dough attachment. Mix until smooth paste has formed, and then add the remaining flour. So I do have a food processor that has a dough mixer, dough paddle on there. So let me go ahead and get that down. Action. Okay, so now that the milk mixture has cooled, it says to add it. So let's go ahead and add everything in here. After the milk mixture, then we have to add 2 eggs. Then the yeast mixture. And then 1 1/2 cups of flour to the mixer fitted with a dough attachment. And then it says mix until smooth paste has formed, and then add the remaining flour 1/2 cup at a time, and then stir until a smooth ball forms. Add additional flour, a half tablespoon at a time if dough appears too sticky. So let me get a cup and a half of flour, and we'll get this started. Action. Okay, so I did go ahead and let's see here. Mixer's cooled, 2 eggs in there. Mix until smooth paste has formed. Add the remaining flour a half a cup at a time, or and stir until smooth ball forms. So let's go ahead and start getting this added in half a cup at a time. Okay, so while I'm doing this, because it looks like it's going to take a little while, um, I'm not going to have you watch me do this because it's going to be boring. So I will see y'all when I am done incorporating all of this flour. Okay, so the next step that we're going to be doing here is we're going to be kneading the dough for about 5 minutes on a floured surface. So let's go ahead and get that done, and then we can move on to the next step. I'll show you when I start kneading, but I'm not going to have you sit here and watch me do it the whole time. Action. All right, it says wipe out the pot, then slightly grease with butter, and then place the kneaded dough in the pot. Cover the dough with plastic wrap and let rise in a warm place until it's doubled in size in about an hour. So let's go ahead and get this done. I'm just going to use butter cooking spray. Okay, and let's get this in here. And I'm going to go ahead and cover that with plastic wrap, and I'll see y'all back in about an hour. Action. Okay, so it has been about an hour, and now it says, actually it's been a little over an hour. So now it says to go ahead and take this out and put this on the floured surface. And then we are going to punch the air out. Yep, turn the dough onto a floured surface. Turn the dough onto a floured surface. Punch down the dough, then evenly distribute into 12 pieces. All right, let's try to get this into 12 pieces and see where we end up. I'm going to turn the camera off for this because this is probably going to be embarrassing. Okay, I am back. I got all of the rolls, well, almost all of the rolls in circles. Sorry, in little balls on here. And so this is the last one right here. Then we're going to fold it over and pinch in those bottoms. And then once we pinch in those bottoms, we just make it into a little ball, bring all of the seams down, and then twist it a little bit, and give it a little table roll. Okay, that is all done. So the next step says, Beat the remaining egg with 1 teaspoon of water, then gently brush the top of the rolls. Oh, that's right. So after we rolled them out into 12 shapes, we have to shape each piece into a small ball, did that, and then place into the greased Ninja multi-purpose pan or 8-inch baking pan. And rolls should be touching with visible gaps in between. So I'm going to go ahead and grease up the pan and then get these in there. And then I'll be right back with you before we have to egg wash. Action. Okay, so the next step says to beat the remaining egg with 1 teaspoon of water. I did that. And then gently brush the top of the rolls with the egg wash. All right, let's go ahead and get that done. Okay, so after that, it says place three teaspoons, or I'm sorry, the remaining 3 tablespoons of water in the pot. Water in the pot. Then it says place the pan on the reversible rack, making sure the rack is in the lower position, and then place the rack in the pot. Okay. And then it says select sear saute. And then we are going to set the sear saute temperature to low. And then we are going to select start stop and cook for 5 minutes, and then press start stop button to turn off sear and saute and allow the rolls to rise for another 5 minutes. All right. After all of this, once we move on to anything other, actually, I don't really think I have to do anything else. So once these are all done, then I will bring them out because I have to let them rest for 15 minutes and rise another 15 minutes, and then I actually get to bake them. So once all of that is done, I'll be right back with you. Okay, so here is what the Parker House rolls look like fresh out of the Ninja Foodi. They look delicious. They got a nice golden brown crust on them. So let's go ahead and get one of these off and go ahead and get that taste test in. Okay, let's go ahead and get this taste test in. This is the bottom part of the roll, and then I'll try the top part of the roll too, where the crust is. Cheers. Those rolls turned out good. So, I'm definitely going to be making those again. We'll probably use the rest of them for dinner later tonight. But with that being said, those are Parker House dinner rolls in the Ninja Foodi. My name is Kenny, aka Black Atlas. And make sure you like, share, comment, subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything to do any of those, but it helps out the channel immensely. And last but not least, with all that being said, I will catch y'all on the flip side.